Well, hi, I've just come down to the beach for a short break, and it's Friday. US market's going to open shortly. So I've got Peanut behind me over here, just digging, and has already buried a ball, and he amazingly finds his balls several days later. We'll come back and he'll find a ball that he buried about a week later or so. So really clever. So I'm just reflecting on how this week has been in the markets, and it's been quite interesting. We've seen inflation and PPI numbers coming out, and the ECB raising rates. And despite them raising rates, saying that they may not continue, the euro plunged, the dollar rallied a bit and then dropped back down. Ended up the day strong yesterday. And we saw PPI just raising up a little bit, CPI not too bad. And it all seems to be about oil. And I put some comments up on X about oil and how the PPI and inflation numbers generally just impacted by oil. And I made a comment about the fact that the so-called Putin inflation is actually quite right, because well, America imports about 10 to 12% of its energy now. It's oil mainly. So there's a general price pressure on energy, including natural gas, although that price hasn't rallied, seems to be going up again now. But we've seen how today has started out with stock markets sort of slightly up. Dollar up as well at the same time, which is unusual. We've seen gold get a bit of a wiggle on today, and silver. During the night there was quite a strong rally, so that's pretty good for the dollar bull, for the gold bulls, and for the silver bulls, of which I am one. One of the interesting things has been the sort of hype on uranium, and if you just go on, if you search on Twitter for uranium, you'll see that there are pages and pages and pages of FOMO hype on uranium. We've been long on uranium for a very long time, buying the dips every time, and just keeping an eye on Peanut there. Hope he's not wandering off. And so, but we got out at sort of near the top, and I'm actually slightly short uranium now, and I think the hype is quite overdone, and I think we're due for a very healthy pullback on uranium. So I'm now slightly short, not a lot, but a little bit short on uranium, but I'll be looking to buy dips later on. I'm definitely a uranium bull. Peanut's just picked up I hate to say what it looks like, but it's brown and it's round and smelly. So that's uranium. So gold, we're long on gold, short on uranium just for the meantime. Stocks, I'm long on Nvidia, but that's a hedge against an overall short position from $510. And I think we'll see the stock markets range and bounce around quite a lot in quite large ranges as we go into the next month or two or three. So I'm prepared to trade those in both directions. When it comes to the yen pairs, I'm still short across the board, hedged but short across the board generally on yen pairs. And we've seen the Bank of Japan and the Ministry of Finance talking about adjustments to their interest rate policy. They've already had a de facto adjustment to the yield control curve policy, and a lot of analysts are feeling that we've probably seen the more or less as far as the yen's going to go in terms of weakness, and we should see some strength coming back in to the Japanese yen, particularly if we see the dollar start to fall off from these very critical levels that the dollar's at now. And I think with the dollar drop, we should see commodities rally, stock markets probably carrying on rallying overall, with a lot of zigzagging towards the end of the year. So generally I think, except perhaps for chip stocks and Apple, I'm skeptical about both of those. I think we should see Apple begin to try and gain a little footing, but generally struggle overall, as we see the hype over the new iPhone 15 and various bits and pieces that they released being a bit overblown. Pretty good kit, but more expensive, slightly better. Generally an item that people will forego replacing when times are a little bit tough, and I think that's what we're going to see in Apple. Plus the China ban on everything comes down to China these days. So we've got China this, China that, and Russia this, Russia that, and it's been a thread throughout politics and economics. It looks like a week ago people were saying China's collapsing and it's all over for China. And now they're saying, well, maybe there's hope for China, and China will sort of stage this miracle recovery. And people are starting to bet on things like the Chinese stock market and the Chinese currency. And things like copper as well, which is somewhat dependent on a recovery in industry and particularly in China. So that's where we are today. Bit of a messy picture, but overall, just to give you an idea of what I'm in, I'm short on the yen pairs, I'm long on gold, I'm long on wheat, I'm short uranium, I'm slightly long on Nvidia, but hedged mainly short, but having a little bit of a punt on the long side as well. And generally I think stocks are going to go up, so we may have a little nibble at buying into NASDAQ or S&P, perhaps even Apple right at the bottom if we see a nice reversal. When it comes to other commodities, natural gas, well, we're long on that. That's pulled back quite a lot. We've taken profit twice at the tops on natural gas, and now I've got back down to about a half a size position from around about $2.58. So we're at 272 now, so we'll see how that goes. Looks like it's trying to find some footing, so long on natural gas, and I think that's about it really. A couple of other things here and there. Euro and the pound I think are struggling. They'll probably continue. Whoa, there goes Peanut. Probably continue to struggle. What's he up to? This I think he's just buried that horrible brown lump that he was digging up earlier. So that's it really. It's a beautiful day down here. Apparently there's going to be a sort of 80km/h wind shortly, so I'm going to get this back to my study and get it out to you. Have a great weekend. Have a fantastic weekend. Have a break, recharge, and if you need to refresh your mind, take your dog for a walk on the beach if you're near a beach, or in the park or wherever. It's really, really good for the soul. Make it a brisk 2 to 5 kilometer stroll along the beach or in the park or just around the block, and think about things. It's really important. Take care. I'll speak to you on Monday probably, but before that I'll do an update on natural gas over the weekend and a couple of other things.